And a happy Tuesday morning to you too. You know what, let me move you back just a little so you can get the full, there we go. Welcome back, it's your boy Raven. And a lawnmower. It rained yesterday, last night, and some this morning. I have no idea why they're cutting the grass now. They had plenty of time to do it in the sun yesterday. And they're doing it so close to here. Oh, the wonderful things that are done on YouTube. One take, uncut. So, I'm sure many of you noticed the high-fiving logo that I placed down here in this lower left corner decided to magically creep its way back toward me. I don't know why. And I didn't notice it until after I was reviewing the final product, which meant it had all baked down, and with how much processing power it takes to bake one of these videos down, I wasn't interested in going back and think they could do anywhere but here. I wasn't interested in redoing the whole thing. It takes a lot of time. You have to love landscaping, ladies and gentlemen. You really do. So, the Odd Fathers podcast. Oh, they're right up on the window this time. As I was saying, the Odd Fathers podcast, its last episode for the season, was posted within the last couple of days. Really? Oh, here it comes again. Oh, looks like he's finally buggering off to other pastures. Anyway, the Odd Fathers podcast just posted the last episode for this season, and I may have spoken a bit too soon. I certainly did. I will be right back. Okay, so much for the one take uncut thing. It sounds like they've gone a little farther out. Anyway, the Odd Fathers podcast just posted their last podcast for the season. The new season will be starting in October, they say. High-fiving is back, so be sure to join me there, or speakyourmindhere.com, pill.net. There's another one I'm on, clouthub.com. You can find me on Twitter. It's the only mainstream social media that I have. I have links to all of that down below. I'll have to post the CloudHub link, I think. I don't think I have that one. Anyway, I am on those sites because if Twitter decides to get a little squirrely with me, I have all those backups where I'm somewhat established. I'm not so established on Pilled. I'm more established on CloudHub, speakyourmindhere.com, and High-Fivin'. You can find me there. You can interact with me. We can talk about anything you'd like. I will probably be doing some exclusive content for each one of those sites, just here and there. So one day I may give CloudHub a little bit of exclusive content if I can ever get the video portion to work. High-fiving will also have a video portion and a live streaming portion. I may look into that as well. Just a few things that I was trying to get out there before being so rudely interrupted by a big riding lawnmower. So, just some of the things that happen around here. No, I'm not a multimillionaire. I don't have a big home or a room that I can dedicate strictly for making these YouTube videos, though one day that is my hope. So keep your fingers crossed for me. Pray for me. Do whatever it is you do. Do a rain dance for me. Okay, maybe not the rain dance. It's been raining enough. Anyway. But, yes. I personally, along with Chance Paladin and a few others, did get mentioned on the last episode of the Oddfathers podcast for the season. And guess what? I'm also going to be appearing on the Oddfathers podcast when the new season makes its return. I'll let you know when that happens. Anyway, let's get down to it, shall we? I don't know if we're going to be talking tarot or what. I really don't know. Personally, I'm good with playing it by ear. Whatever comes up, right? So, we do have the 9 worlds today for our guide. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the 9 worlds reminds us that we are focusing on something much bigger than ourselves. That we are one part of a whole. Oh, I was right for one thing. We are one part of a whole. We're one part of a much larger thing. However, it's just showing us that everything is connected. The fate of one affects the fate of all. That is something I did want to talk about, but I don't want to ramble too much. Just know that everything is connected. Everything. Dark and light, good and evil, beginnings and endings, birth and death, they're all connected. We're never truly alone. So are you feeling alone right now? You're not. But the fate of one affecting the fate of another. I would like to address that very briefly. I was watching a YouTube video last night. It was from the 90s. It was David Thibodeau, who was one of the surviving Branch Davidians from the ATF FBI raid back in the 90s. And he was talking about all the things that came out, or all the things that were presented in court against the Branch Davidians who found themselves arrested, and what was not shown. How the media portrayed them. And if you go back and look at that video, you need, personally, I think I'll be linking that in the description below, because you are going to see parallels from then to today. And I think you should I really think you should watch it. If for nothing else, just to see the parallels. To see just how really scummy the mass media was back then. This is not a recent development. I personally think that most mass and mainstream media is biased. I even think some alternative media is biased. But it's time we start looking for the ones that just call it like it is, present you with the information, let you decide. That's what our media should be. But anyway, you'll see in that video how the fate of one affects the fate of all. Because many of those same things are going on today. Just remember that what you do for someone today, and this is the most important thing, what you do for someone today may affect many others. What you do to someone today may affect many others. You're not alone, and it may even affect you. So, let's see what our spirit animal guide looks like. Get this tone set. So, we've got a wasp, and I'm not talking the band. It says, sometimes life stings. I'd like to think that today may be one of those moments that teaches you teaches you this very, very harsh and valuable lesson. I hope it's not too harsh, because it may be one that needs to be learned. You just never know. We don't know what it is yet, so we're still kind of in the minutia of things. We will be getting to an overall, but you know me, I like to look at the bright side of things. I like to present you with the, yes, things may be hard, but kind of approach. So, you know that wasps keep insect populations down? They support the growth of plants. But man, when those things hit you, they sting like a son of a gun, don't they? So the sting of life may hurt. You may feel deeply disappointed or even resentful that this has shown up. But soon you will come to see that Spirit has something wonderful in store for you. You may well come to realize that being stung led to something far better than you envisioned for yourself. Perhaps behind the scenes, Wasp Spirit was conspiring with Spirit to ensure you could grow something of value to you. Spirit has a plan, and the Wasp Spirit has a part. You ever look back and been glad your prayers weren't answered because the path you took led to something far better? Well, this is a reminder to reflect on those times, because today's sting may hurt, but something better awaits you. Let's talk about that connection to everything again. Something someone does to you today may not feel good. It may not feel good at all, but you can start to see what is of value to you. That's what you're going to focus on today. It's what's going to set the tone for this whole reading. So past, present, future. What we got? We got in our past, we have 7 of coins. We have a Knight of Cups. And we also have a 6 of coins. Oh wow, a lot of earth and water energy today. So we're all kind of we're looking at, with this one, it's definitely hard work. You can see it. This guy is toiling away. He's got all of his accomplishments hung up, and some just kind of like laying off to the side. Maybe he's ready to put the finishing touches on that one, but he's got to get that one done, right? Knight of Cups, that one I want to say it's definitely moving forward with your emotions. Again, we're going to say the sting of life sometimes. Look, life is not always pleasant. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, and I don't ever claim that that's what I'm here to offer you. But we do have to stand a little steadfast in it. We do have to have that control over our emotions, and we have to move forward anyway. It's the saying, life goes on. It may sound harsh at times, but it's absolutely true. So with our Knight of Wands, or our Knight of Cups, sorry. Cups, idiot. Sometimes your boy Raven doesn't have his head on straight, and I really haven't even had my first cup of tea yet. So with that Knight, this is also some romantic adventure. This is a little whimsy here. And that's what you seem to be chasing, just a little bit of whimsy. Then we come to that 6 of coins for the future. Now, 6 of coins, this is where we learn to balance between work and what else we're doing. We learn to kind of give our time, but we also learn to set up boundaries. It's also our leadership. So right now, I can tell you this much. This came up as I was watching. I watch a lot of videos, whether it's YouTube or some other platform. I'm usually watching a lot of stuff, and there are usually messages that pop out at me. Let me tell you something. Right now, I could say this. I want to point out this little juxtaposition here. Watch this. Ready for this? Okay. You know what? I'm going to take you down from your meta position. I'm really going to give you the tour here. Ready? Here you go. First time we're ever doing this. So, with our focus on this 7 of coins, this is a guy doing a lot of work, and he's really getting after it. And I mean, look at all those pentacles. Actually, this is the pentacle suit, but it's typically also called coins. He's minting like no other. But does he look very happy is the question. He doesn't really look happy. He's a master of his trade, but is that trade doing him any good? It's just making him a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you move into this position where this Knight of Cups is like, you know what, maybe I don't need that job. Maybe that job is making me miserable. And that could be the case with you. I don't know. You want to move on to something else. You want to seek that happiness and that adventure. And yes, at the end there's less money, but at the end there's a little more of that happiness there. Why? Because sometimes life is not fair. So you end up with a little less, but it's a great starting point, and you can still help take care of yourself and your family. That is what matters most. It may not be the luxurious life, but it's going to be what makes you feel better. Now, with that in mind, that's the question that comes up today. Are you really doing what's making you happy, or are you just doing it to make others happy? Remember, what you do for others, to others, is connected. But what if you're the one that's not happy today? That's what you got to weigh out. So let's talk about this, because today is a day for authenticity. So I broke out the sacred rebels again. So we have, what do you feel? Oh boy, here we go, right? Power of attraction. Okay, so far so good. And then we have come to life. We've seen come to life before. Come to life is that card that says, hey, it's time for us to get out there and create. Leave the whole monkey mind behind. Stop listening to the doubts, right? But right now, what do you feel? Do you feel like you're kind of just staring off into space half the time? And look at this. She looks like she's in sort of a balancing act, or trying to juggle. I think she's trying to juggle. But the Earth looks one way. The Earth looks like it's just hanging there. She's just kind of staring at it, but I don't think she's juggling that. I really don't. She was a little puzzled too. She's like, how did that get stuck there? And to be honest, this could happen to any of us. So, what do you feel? What is that trying to tell us? There we go. So this oracle comes to you because you've been swept up in thinking things through. You've been thinking about which way to go with a matter of importance, and you've got a bit stuck in the logic of the decision-making process. Sometimes we have to accept that any path is a path forward, and if it's not the best path, we can change our approach later on if needed. If we're slightly off base with a decision, life will often shift and move to guide us back on track. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, there is rarely ever a perfect choice to be made, just some choices that feel more heart-honoring than others. Sometimes we can really only know in hindsight if we made the best choice possible in that moment. At the time of decision making, we only have our internal wisdom upon which to rely, and that is all we need. Very simple. What are you feeling right now? Are things making you happy? Because if not, you need to change that. That's on you. That's not on me. That's not on anyone else. Here we go. So, with power of attraction, You've recently completed a cycle or level of manifestation. You're transitioning into the next level of experience. You're like a big fish leaving a small pond and feeling rather like a small fish in a bigger pond. There will be some getting used to it, some time of adjustment. There will be some time needed as you find your way. This will add to what you've already done and bring valuable expansion to your realization of your abilities, as well as many new relationships and opportunities to help you go further on your journey. What are you in the process of creating that you will benefit from this stage in your process? Whether your creation is simply your sacred life path, a particular creative work, or an actual child, there's a positive and constructive energy that is unfolding for you now. To boost this process and carry you further along is the way. Do you dare to dream and believe in your dream until it manifests, even if naysayers challenge you? Of course you do. Of course you do. So this is bringing you guidance. You're going to attract whatever it is you need to complete your work in progress and bring it to fruition. Just remain open to it. Trust it. It's all unfolding. Don't turn away. All the necessary elements are coming together. This is one of those cards that tell you life is not falling apart. It's falling into place. I can't count the number of times I've had to tell someone that they're like, oh my God, my life's falling apart. What's going on? And they tell me, and I'm like, you really don't see it, do you? There are a whole lot of doors opening up, and you're worried about the ones behind you. They're opening in front of you. Go. Life isn't falling apart. It's falling into place. Go. Do your thing. Take it on. Don't worry about that. Finally, we have come to life. And come to life is one of those cards. We've seen it before. Yeah. So you're bringing yourself to life now, and this is how it must be. Of course, something being essential doesn't mean it will always be easy. You must support yourself and have courage during this process. Your monkey mind is not to run the show. It might have a lot to say. You might be overanalyzing it, but coming to life means feeling. It might bring joy. It might bring equally. It might bring sadness or rage, or just you being pissed off to the table. But the message here is be alive. Don't imagine you can go back to sleep. You're too awake for that now. Remember what I've said before. Forget the past. It's dead and gone. Move forward. Fall forward if you have to. If you have to fall forward. Because you can put your hands up. Land that way. It's safer. So don't imagine you can go back to sleep now because you're too awake for that. There's no falling back into old ways. If you do so, it will be short-lived and it won't feel the same as it used to. And you'll certainly eventually celebrate this. But you've crossed the threshold. You're going to cross the threshold today from an old being into something new. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're going to be fine. So for today, what runes, what secrets? We've got Laguz, right? Going with the flow of that lake there. We've got Fehu. Oh wow, that's always a good one to draw. And we have Gabo. Okay, now there are a lot of cards in this spread that talk about wealth, a little bit of that, a little loss of it maybe, some leadership. Remember we said yesterday, become the leader you've always wanted to be. Things aren't always as they seem. And guess what? With things not being always as they seem, this is not always a terrible, terrible thing. Unless you're allergic. Then you find out. Then you start carrying EpiPens, so that way if you do get stung, you can smash one of those things into your leg, and guess what? You won't suffer that anaphylaxis, will you? So good. Anyway, with Laguz, we are definitely going with the flow of the river. We're not trying to swim against the tide. Let's let that tide carry us a little bit. Fehu is always going to be wealth. Whether that's a wealth in knowledge, whether that's a wealth in wisdom, whether that's a wealth in money, whether it's a wealth in cattle, because typically that's exactly what it was. It was cattle. That was how you measured wealth back then. And of course, gabo. Gabo it literally means gift. So we're talking gift for gift. That's something in Norse culture that has always been there. If someone gives you something, you give them something comparable, if not better. You know, this builds people. Now, we can see the gift giving here in this card. So whatever gifts you receive along the way, be sure to return them. Not return, like, give a gift in return. Always repay favor for favor. Always do for others what you'd have them do unto you, right? That's pretty simple. So, let's sum up so I can get this thing in the pipe because I don't have a lot of time now. Alright, so everything is connected. You are connected with everything else. Everything else is connected with you. So, you're going to have to kind of master your emotions a little bit today. You're going to have to start thinking about things just a little bit. Now, don't overthink them. But you're going to have to start making some decisions today. You know, if what you have is currently not where your heart wants to be, time to change that. Or at least start a process of changing it. Now, once you start that process, it's important to know that all those doors are going to be open to you. Everything you need is going to come to, you know, fall in line to help you move along. You will be better for it. Don't pine. Look, it's like this. Don't pine for one and fuck the other. If you want the comfortable life, stay in the comfortable life. But it's not going to be that way for long. If you want that bit of adventure and you want something better, then start the process of moving toward that adventure. Leave the other one behind. Flow with that lake. You will be okay. I mean, like I said, we've gone from seven coins to 6, so it's only going to be a little bit less. Don't worry about that. You can make adjustments, but the gifts you receive along the way, be sure to give in return. So if a person covers a shift for you, be sure to cover one for them. If someone, whatever solid someone does, you do back. That's really all I have for you today. I don't like that. I really don't like it that they're like I could pick any other time to do this, right? I also know that as of the 18th, they're going to be testing the alarms, the fire alarm system, so we might be enduring that. Fun. So, as always, this is Raven saying I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for having a cup of tea and sharing your morning with me. Have a wonderful day. Pursue that which is going to make you truly happy. Remember, if you do what you love, you'll never actually work a day in your life. And as always, my lovely starseeds, shine on. Ooh, I need to get more. I'm almost out of this. Oh, right. Yeah.